It's a nice and lovely Tuesday evening right here in the Croc City of Kaduna. It's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio. That's Ground Zero. My name is Ahis Admo, and Ground Zero is a program where we pick up topical issues in the polity, and with analysts and guests in-house, we analyze these issues and shed more light on them so that you, the listener, can get to understand what we are talking about. And today on the program, it's loaded, heavily packed, and it's one that I'm sure will tickle your fancy by the time we get to the end of today's edition of the program. Why? Because there's something that will definitely touch you in one way or the other. Okay, Kaduna State Government has launched the State Social Protection Policy. What is it about? What's the content? Who is it meant for, and how is it going to help us? All of this you get to listen in the course of the program, because I have persons that have been working around social protection coming here to the studio to give us more information about these things and how it would impact on the lives of everybody living in Kaduna State. All right. The second snippet on the program today is the Senate has confirmed Buratai and other ex-service chiefs as ambassadors. And the third item that we'll be looking at on the program today is the controversy that is trailing Sheikh Gumi's comment on non-Muslim soldiers killing bandits. This and many more in the course of the program you get to know and hear about. But meanwhile, my guests are already seated in the studio. First, I have the president or chairman now? The chairperson of the Kaduna State Social Protection Accountability Coalition, CATSPAC, with us in the studio in the person of Jessica Bartholomew. Jessica, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Hi, Ahis. It's lovely to be here again.
All right. I also have with me in the studio a veteran journalist and a media strategist, Eddie Ochidbo. Eddie Ochidbo, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
My warm regards.
The last, but definitely not the least, I call him personally now, that's not his designation, the development reporter or the development guru. Okay, he's a journalist and he is with the Sun newspaper. He's the correspondent in Kaduna State, am I right? And also I know he's much into development and all of that. You get to hear from him also because he's one that has been following the trail of this social protection policy, and finally it has come to fruition. We'll get his take on the program too. And to be part of the program this evening, we have various platforms. First, you can call us when we open up the lines. But secondly, for those that are far away and don't listen to us through regular means, you can get us on our various social media platforms, starting from Facebook, which is Invicta FM Kaduna is our Facebook handle. You go there, you set the post. And of course, you can also watch us live on Facebook Live. The video is streaming now. So go to Facebook, watch or drop your comments, or let's have your take on what we're discussing this evening. You can also the Invicta FM and Instagram handles. Invicta FM Twitter and Instagram handles at Invicta FM 989, at Invicta FM 989. And of course, the program specific Twitter handle is at Ground 0247, at Ground 0247. These are all multiple platforms where you can be a part of the program this evening. And immediately after the program, you can watch us on the Invicta FM YouTube channel at Invicta FM Online TV, Invicta FM Online TV. You can also watch us there. Like I always tell you, even after the program, the conversation continues. So just keep the dial locked on Invicta 98.9 FM. We'll go straight to talking about our first item, which is the Kaduna State Government that has launched the State Social Protection Policy. But first, we'd like to know, what is social protection itself? Because launching a policy and the people that the policy is meant for don't know that they even fall under that net will be something else. I'll go straight to the chairperson of the Kaduna State Social Protection Accountability Coalition, Jessica. What is social protection?
Okay, Ahis, thank you so much. Social protection is actually policies and programs that are designed to mitigate shocks, risk, vulnerabilities that might be from, let's say, uh, disasters, any shock, pandemic, or any kind of um, issue that takes people into a vulnerable state. Like you are doing well, and then from something happens to you, and you become poor. So those are the shocks, the risk, and the vulnerability we're talking about. So
Okay.
those are the policies that are put in place to ensure that the citizens do not fall below the poverty line.
Okay.
Those policies and programs designed to mitigate it are what is called social protection.
Wow. I like that. And let me keep that for last. Let me keep that for
You
last.
were wowed.
Yes, I was wowed. I wanted to say, don't you think I'm below the $1 line? Okay, now we have an understanding of that now, what social protection is all about. Now, in our society here in Kaduna, we'd like to have an idea of the examples of persons that fall under these social protection nets.
Okay. So we would like to first start by saying that the social protection policy does not just, it's not just for the poor. It's also for vulnerability. That's why I
Okay.
keep using the word vulnerability. It's one thing to be poor. It's one thing to be vulnerable. You and I are vulnerable. God forbid something happens to me when I'm stepping out here. I lose the leg, and then I use all my savings to be able to support myself, and then I'm back to zero. I don't have where to eat. I don't have money to drink. I don't have money to pay for shelter and the rest. By virtue of these conditions, I have become poor.
Yeah, yeah.
So these policies and programs are designed for vulnerability. Now, back to your question, you said based on how do we know these people? Now, like if you hear the speech of the governor today, we have a social register, the SSR.
Yeah.
That social register has the information, the database of the poor and the vulnerable. And these poor and the vulnerable were gotten from the community. The community chose those people themselves.
Yeah.
Those people that could not be able to afford even 1 square meal was the problem. So those people were identified under that register, and those people benefit from programs. Programs like cash transfer to vulnerable households, programs like the school feeding program that is done to also support children that are going to government schools to be able to see how their nutrition can be strengthened, and then they can come to school and be able to acquire what is needed. Secondly, we have the contributory health management system. This contributory health, what it does is there's an informal sector contributory health, which also helps to tackle those poor and vulnerable people that cannot access health care services. So
Okay.
the programs just run, like that. But then for you to be able to access those people that are poor, you need to visit the social register that is domiciled at the SUKU office, the State Operating and Coordinating Unit.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll come to Shola now, and let's look at what the social protection register, what it represents. Not the register, social protection policy, what it represents. Because I know for a long time now, the media, the civil society organizations have been clamoring for this. Finally, we have it. What does it represent?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. Now, when you're talking about social protection policy, in Nigeria, we operate what we call indirect democracy.
Yeah.
A governor comes and a governor, goes, and the state remains. Now, when you're talking about social protection policy, it's just a kind of policy coming up with a legal framework that will make it a continuous, policy even after this government exits its tenure in 2023. So with this, it means there is a particular, it's just like when you are registering a company and you have address. So with this policy now, and with just like what governor said, that they are now coming up with the agency itself. So that means there will be a responsible agency to manage, to coordinate everything that has to do with social protection in Kaduna State. So that means you now have where this social protection that Chairman made mention, the register that she made mention will be kept, and they can be assessed for any intervention, either for public or for private purpose. It's just going to serve like a kind of, a bank, where you can come from anywhere to come and mine data based on the category of vulnerable or poor people that you want to assist.
Wow. I think Kaduna State is...
and it's based on what my own investigation concerning this matter. As a journalist, I'm a stakeholder also.
Yes, you are.
I did a rough survey, and with this, the social protection, provision, the people living with disability today are far more well captured than it has ever been in the history of the state. They are captured in the net, they are benefiting, and I think that is what social protection is all about. So to me, I know that it's making headway, and no wonder the government, has keyed into it and trying to make it formalized, and where all the legal framework will be actualized.
Okay, from this point now, what's next? In the sense that, yes, the policy has been launched. So what next? Because the policy does not, on its own, on paper, translate to improvement or impact on the socially vulnerable persons. From this point now, what next? The policy has been launched. What next?
Okay. So, thank you very much for that question. What next? Now, the beautiful part of this policy is it came loaded. It came loaded with an implementation plan already developed for implementing the policy objective and measures. Now, not only that, it now came with an M&E framework. That's a monitoring and evaluation framework. That will be able to monitor the implementation plan as it is implemented across the 23 local governments of the state. Now, that is why this policy is a very unique document. It has, we call it 3-in-1. Now, forget about this one again. We have the pronouncement by the governor on the establishment of the agency. And that establishment of the agency is factored into the policy itself. Now, but to further buttress the need to make this sustainable and then give it ownership to citizens, it is backing up with legislation. So as I'm talking to you now, there is a draft bill on ground, which I'm also part of the committee drafting the bill. And as soon as those processes are on, we are going to legalize this policy. It's going to be sustained, ownership, whether or not, just like Shola was saying, another government comes in, already that structure has been put in place. Now, another thing that I just want to mention so that it becomes a mantra for us, is already a mantra, is that at the back of our minds, both the listeners listening to me now, is that document wants a life of dignity for all. That is the mantra of that document. You know what that means? A life of dignity, a dignified life where you can go out and not feel inferior by any circumstance at all. A life of dignity by providing access to health, access to education, labor market intervention, social care outreaches like welfare, psychosocial support, and then the legalization of all the activities. So it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful document that really needs stakeholders like you, the journalists, to continue to track. We need to support the government on this. The government cannot do it alone. We need to support the government if we need this document to be sustained. It's a beautiful document that the government is thinking of not making to stay on the shelf like other documents have. So we really need to work together.
All right. You're listening to Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. We'll quickly take some messages and we'll be right back right here on the program.
Tiabam Pia Ninabum, you can funk a resort Mokubunyuna, Nilian Kenya Kundia, Kekueta Hanga. Risoma kubunyera takalera Zwanjazi shine bishima didani mabin ka ambamani mvang shima didit nang anang shoda nini ayet akwimbo anan chirung anon kubzo yanje bangan nuka bang tiang ashombo ana bangan miene tai kanani risoma kubunyung ye zwanjan nang mandang soru gutpa sai si hiyo ye twaja nang nge coronani ka sadongwan ana faga la mankyang na nang fang tazwani ka fang na akwan ayron lang hunin nang wagani huwa yet zunzu ananai zunzu okubunyonga natat zunzu anyong zunzu feyangwa yet zunzu nanai zunzu okubunyong afon tamjini net mbwa kuka Center for Faith Research and Public Policy ngwai
garin sabulun Sunlight 2-in-1 mai turaren oud. Sabon shiga ne daga ire-iren garin sabulai da Sunlight ke kisarwa. Yana zuwa a fakiti mai ban sha'awa kuma yana tattare da ingantaccen turaren oud na asali.
Sannun ku dai jama'ar Kafancin Zaria da cikin garin Kaduna. Suna na Hauwa na kuma zo muku da daddaɗan labari. Shin ko kun san abin da ke faruwa idan ba ku rarrabe sharar ku ba? Ai ko shakka babu. Hakan shi ke sanadin gurɓacewar iskar da muke shaka, sanadin kamuwa da rashin lafiya, yaɗuwar kwari da cututtuka da kuma uwa uba matsalar toshewar magudane da ambaliyar ruwa. Kuna iya samar da sauyi daga gidajenku, makarantu da wuraren sana'o'inku ta hanyar rarrabe sharar da kuke zubarwa kamar ledoji, takardu, karafuna da gilasai a cikin mazubai na musamman da aka tanadar muku su kyauta. Ko dai ku hanzarta rarrabe sharar ku yayin da ƙwararrun ma'aikatan mu za su zo har gida kullum su kwashe. Domin ba da bayani akan kutacin wuraren ku, kuna iya tuntuɓar mu akan waɗannan lambobin waya 07060884714 ko kuma 07026666660. Wannan sako ne daga Green Cable Ventures, Mega Recyclers da CC Recyclers, haɗin gwiwa da hukumar kula da muhalli ta jihar Kaduna da tallafin Links masu dabarun bunƙasa tattalin arzikin arewacin Najeriya.
Welcome back from that commercial timeout. You're still listening to the program Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Before we took that break, we've been looking at the Kaduna State Social Protection Policy that was officially launched today by the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasser El-Rufai. And we've looked at what it represents, who it's for, and what social protection is all about. And in the course of this discussion, there was something that kept coming up, which is the Social Protection Register. Now, Shola, how did the Social Protection Register come about? What informed it and the content? What is it?
That's my chairman is here. He should be able to talk more on that. But before then, you know, the other time before we went to commercial break, you were asking about what next. I think on our own part as media, we really need to see how we can create awareness for people of Kaduna State to be aware of this policy and to know where they need to come in so that it will be a whole lot of social at the end of the day. Now, talking about the social register, how it was being developed, you know, don't forget that when we have this COVID-19 shutdown, there was a palliative that was going around.
Yes.
That time, the thing was marred by a lot of irregularities. Some people get small things, some get, and things like that. Now, the state government, the National Social Register that was made use of, has just 30% of vulnerable and poor households in Kaduna State in that register that belong to federal government, supported by the World Bank. Now, the governor saw the need for him to increase that number from 30% to 100%. That was initially done in just local governments.
Yes.
Yes, he later extended it to the remaining 14 local governments. So that to make up the 23 local governments, so that you can have 100% of poor vulnerable being captured in that social register. Now, somebody wants to ask, how do I know who is poor? This is one of the things, you know, I'm interested in this policy and in this particular, you know, the method that was used is called CBT, community-based targeting. It's a kind of idea. For example, now people are living in Guamegero, people are living in Rigasa. Now they now has the people of this community. You understand this now? The traditional leader there, the NURTW, the people within that community, who we call community prime movers.
Cluster.
Now they will now come up to describe what poverty is in their own language, as is peculiar to that very community.
Yeah.
You understand this now? So it's going to be like, I want to look at it from the point of, is a kind of people-oriented social register. Because it's not as if one politician is coming from anywhere, you put this guy and put this guy. No. It's you within the community. So whatever error that is, error of inclusion or exclusion that occur,
it's the
should
community,
be
that
the blame
primary community
of the community, of the business of the community.
Yeah.
And that's one good thing about this social register that we have now. So the essence is, just like you said, you have the people living with disability, you have the youth that are unemployed, you have the people that are vulnerable, just like you said, maybe as a result of sickness that's beyond what they can capture. And that's why we have all these different categories of this elderly, even people living with HIV and all that.
Yeah.
So it is the community driven to come up with this register. I always tell people one thing, that no matter what, Buhari can never go to all the 774 local governments that we have in Nigeria. El-Rufai cannot go to all the communities we have in Kaduna State. People have been saddled with this responsibility to identify who is poor among them based on criteria they developed. You understand this? By themselves, to come up with these people that are poor among them, are vulnerable. And that is what this social register is all about. That is how it's been, arrived at. I don't know, my chairman wants to add.
Yes.
Yeah, you've done a very beautiful work already, Shola. Thank you so much. Now, this social register we're talking about, it has been in existence for over some years now. It was an initiative by World Bank to reduce poverty.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not a new development.
No.
COVID-19 development.
No.
Okay.
It came up, I think, in 2017. I'm going to find that out. But it was an initiative by World Bank to reduce poverty in Africa and in Nigeria specifically. So that was when the CBT process came up. Now the CBT process, the community-based targeting, was developed to be able to remove that error of inclusion and exclusion.
Okay.
To address the error of inclusion, allowing you, just like Shola said, allowing you people to own up with your selection, so that tomorrow you don't say, oh, one politician has hijacked this. Like our governor was saying, that let's stop using slots. Let's stop taking slots. Let's use the register. Let's give this thing to the people that deserve this kind of intervention. So that was what the committee, why the committee-based targeting is. Now, Shola, the beautiful part of it is, even when the community have been splitted into 6 different groups, that is the PWDs, the women, the elderly, youth, and women of childbearing age, grouped into these very vulnerable groups. They select individually within their group who is vulnerable under this our group. Who do we know under the PWDs
the poorest of the poor.
So when they bring that list together, the name of the person that appears in all the groupings automatically means that all the group agree that this one
is like that.
So the cleaning starts from there. So they have the 6 Ps that they call it the what do they call it? This PP, the PPT, whereby there's a level from level 1 to 6. You keep falling down till when they know, okay, this one is the moderate one. This one, they pick out the most.
The poorest of the poorest.
The poorest. That's why we use the word the poorest of the poorest. The poorest.
So even the poorest is still correct.
So that process brings out those names. Yes, we know that, whether you like it or not. There's a systematic failure or error that you will definitely get somebody that wants to look at all those things and see how he can corrupt. Manipulate his way out. So those kind of things is minimal when you look at the CBT process. It's very minimal. You know, that is why we want people to use it. Because those little errors is something you can trace. Because, for instance, now, do you know that when there was a flag off of the rural women cash transfer some weeks back by the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian? Yes. Do you know that it's only in Kaduna State that the governor told had to inform them at the Ministry of Humanitarian to use the social register? And by the time we wanted the list, they sent the list for us, so we can just call the numbers or trace them and say, did you get this 20,000?
To do your tracking.
Exactly. So it's easy for you to take some names now, and say, oh, I was doing my field visit as the media person to see, okay, what, you know, and I got 10 people
just
that said, yes, just to do follow-up, and I got 10 people like this. 10 people did not get this, but they said this, they reported this. It's easy for you to do all those analysis when you are presented with this data. So yes, these are the process we intend to use. We know that we have other beneficiaries that are not captured there. What the government is trying to do is it's a continuous thing. They keep they mine this data every day. Every day. As of today, we were hearing at the national it's over 30 million people that have been mined in that data. Yes, over 30 million people. And when you come to Kaduna State, almost 300,000 people have been mined on that data. So it's a very big process that we should all, you know, subscribe to, support, and create awareness.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're still listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. We have talked about the social protection policy that was launched today in Kaduna State. We are going to take some messages, and after those messages, we'll come talk about some other things here on the program. And guess what we'll be talking about? We are looking at the Senate that has confirmed Buratai and ex-service chiefs as ambassadors. And also, we'll be looking at the controversy that is trailing Gumi's comment on non-Muslim soldiers killing bandits. So keep the dialogue on, and we'll be right back, right here on the program. All right, welcome back from that commercial timeout. The program is still Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. Now, the other snippets on the program were the Senate that has confirmed the appointment of former service chiefs as non-career ambassadors designate. Their confirmation happened today, and it followed the consideration of a report by the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs under Senator Mohammed Bolkachua. And on February 10, Senate President Ahmed Lawal had directed the Committee on Foreign Affairs to confirm General Abayomi Olanishakin, retired. He's from Ekiti State. Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, retired from Borno State. Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Abbas, retired from Cross River State. And Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, retired from Bauchi State. And Air Marshal Mohammed S. Usman, retired from Kano State as non-career ambassadors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. However, an attempt by the minority leader, Senator Iyenaya Baribe, to draw the attention of his colleagues to a petition against their confirmation was stopped by Senate President Lawan. Abaribe had asked Bolkachua to explain why the petition against them was dismissed by Lawan. But Lawan said the petition lacked merit. Okay, then the last item today is controversy trails Gumi's comment on non-Muslim soldiers killing bandits. And his direct comment was that you are being killed and attacked by non-Muslim soldiers. And Gumi also said that bandits are peaceful and humble people. Should I put all of this in quotes now? I wouldn't know. Popular Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi has accused, I don't want to be overflogging this thing. We already have the meat of it. Because the intent here is not to...
We don't have time.
It's not to either talk about whether Christian killed Muslim or Muslim killed Christian. That's not the intent here. But should someone of his stature be dropping comments like this? What does a comment from Gumi in respect of all of this represent? Not forgetting that he has first-hand information, he is in touch with the bandit. Should he be dropping comments that will pitch people against people? He's supposed to be a peacemaker. which I believe that's what he's doing. But I wouldn't know. Eddie, I want you to
I
bundle
thought you
all
go
of
to
this.
Shola. Shola.
Let's bundle all of this together. Shola and
They have been talking.
I've been talking.
Okay.
Just react to the two, bundle it together. And see
First
how-
and foremost, I have great respect for Gumi, as someone who has, transcended so many, academic, horizon. He's a medical doctor. He's a retired army captain, and he has a PhD also in Islamic education or something like that. Yeah. That tells me that such a person, when he wants to talk, will talk from the position of, from an informed position. That whatever I say, because of the way now, I have, shown that I repose all kinds of confidence in him, all this thing.
Yeah.
For me to do it, it means that he will know what to say, at what time to say it,
where
what
to
the
say it,
implications,
where to
the impact it could make.
Yes.
It's just because you are all-rounder. Army, made a doctor, PhD, made. So if you talk amiss, then there will be a problem.
Yeah.
And from my own sincere position, an opinion, that statement is amiss. Because if you look at it from whichever angle,
Yeah.
it constitutes or it makes ground fertile for some kind of friction.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into some kind of languages,
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that he made that statement. I think he should be able to, take it back and say, look, this is not what I mean.
Yes, he did that on Channels Television yesterday on a particular program where he said that he was quoted out of context. And my attention was drawn because after I dropped the snippets, my attention was also drawn to the video where he made the comment and sent to me, which he was asked to tell the people under what circumstance or how he was quoted out of context, which he did not respond to. I have the video, I have the content, so I know that I have not gone out of what is expected of me as a journalist to say on air. He made this comment, it's on tape, and I've listened to it. This is not hearsay, and like you said, I respected him so much, and I'm sure probably something went amiss. That's not a statement that should come from Gumi.
That's why he's the
Well,
one that
I don't understand. Well,
the police will call it accidental discharge or something.
okay, quickly also comment on the Senate that did not even have a look at the petition. Tossed out, well, Ahmed said he would pass it.
I don't want to.
President.
That is not even something to comment about. But since you insist that I should comment about it, I'll comment about it. First and foremost, so many things went wrong. And since it's going wrong under Adamu, there is the Senate president who says that whatever they throw at us for executive, we are ready to support it and all this. And it's there on the public domain that is what he said.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't even take him serious if he addressed the media after he came. It was not making sense to me because he has already, told us the
His
kind of
position.
Senate
Yeah.
I want the Senate will be under him. So I don't. Where are they, shifting goalposts? Let's not talk about things
So
that are
I'll
not.
quickly drop a comment or two in respect of that.
All right, now that you're making me to say something about it, if you ask me, in the first instance, Buratai, that's former Chief of Army Staff, is called his counterparts in the Nigerian Air Force, and even the Defense Minister that's just retired a few weeks ago. They are Nigerians, and as such, they are qualified to mount any opportunity in public offices. But then, if you look at the circumstances that surrounded their resignation from these responsible offices, it's as a result of call by many Nigerians within and outside the country for them to drop and let's see whether new people can come up with new ideas to deal decisively with what we are causing. I mean, what we are having in the country.
Yeah.
Especially the insecurity, the Boko Haram are still there. The bandit is not taking over Northwest, and across the country you have the issue of pastoralists versus this and that and things like that. So one expect them possibly to just go and rest and to enjoy, to rest after serving the country meritoriously, so to say, for 35 years and even more, and possibly look forward to replacing our people who are just, Democrats, to be nominated as ambassadorial nominees by Mr. President. We were surprised to see these people. But if you ask me on the large scale, they are still Nigerians, and Nigerians we await their performance as they mount this new responsibility.
Okay, Jessica, a comment or two
On what?
any of the topics? Because actually we don't have much time.
She's an activist. She don't even want to.
You don't want to hear my own view on all these ones.
Why not?
Okay, so I will do what I know how to do best. And that is development work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to the development work. Basically, what I want to say now is this. As Nigerians, as citizens and residents of Kaduna State, it's not enough to point one finger at one person. Remember, the remaining 4 fingers are pointed at you.
Yeah.
What are you doing as a resident of Kaduna State to support in ensuring that all the dignity, a life of dignity, is proffered to your neighbor? What are you doing to support your neighbor or let's give an example for those people that even use electricity? What are you doing in terms of ensuring that light that I'm enjoying, I pay for the bills? So let's use this policy as a sober reflection towards ensuring that we support the state in creating awareness on what is needed to be able to implement this policy.
081 40,000 989 and 0708 7800 989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to our conversation this evening on Ground Zero. You can also go to our various social media portals to also drop your comment. Let's take our first call this evening. Hello, good evening, welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Ihis.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, I say good evening, my name is...
Good evening, Musa Bala, I know your voice.
Yes, my greeting to the entire investor family. Let me quickly go to Kaduna State Social Protection Policy. I will say kudos to Kaduna State Governor, Kaduna State Government, and the people concerned in all these things. I've been saying it time without number that Kaduna State has been restructuring very well, quietly. This is what we call practical restructuring without hitting up the polity.
Yeah.
But people that cannot even conduct local government election for past 15 years, people that still borrow money to buy cars in this age, are the ones talking about restructuring without doing it. And the confirmation of Bruta and others, one of your guests have just spoken that they are Nigerians, they are qualified. If anybody have any reason why they should not be, I think he or she can go to court so that we can stop them. Lastly, on the issue of Gumi, it's absolutely very, very unfortunate, too unbecoming. What his comment, I'm a Muslim, is absolutely un-Islamic. You don't incite a community like Nigeria like that. And he was also a former military personnel.
Yes.
And he knew the kind of military personnel, with the kind of military we're having in Nigeria. I don't think that comment he made to those terrorist bandits is amounting to anything. But we have not stopped such comment from the beginning. We have such comment that came from other notable Nigerians. Comment like that of Chiwa Danjuma, when he alleged that the military were conniving with the bandits to kill his people. Comment like that of former President Obasanjo when he alleged colonization and Islamization. There was a time Khan also alleged that the bandits were there to exterminate Christians. And unfortunately, Apostle Suleiman also said that they should kill the Fulanis. And the last comment by the Fuka, who said that if the current president were not a Muslim from the north, there would have been a coup. I want to appeal to notable Nigerians, both religious leaders and political leaders. I always say it, Nigeria is greater than any one of them. Nigeria is greater than any ethnic group or any section of this country. If they cannot help us, they should not add fire to what is already dealing with the common Nigerians.
Yeah.
Nigeria will prevail over any kind of falsehood. May God continue to protect us, give us good leaders, no matter their language or religion, and may God continue to distance us from people that want to tear us apart, no matter their religion and no matter their language.
All right.
Good evening to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Musa.
We have to comment.
Hello, good evening.
We have to comment. Yeah, we have to commend His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, for putting this program on course. But my question is that, can that affect us with the close unpaid TESDA workers, about 2,200 workers of Kaduna TESDA Limited since on the 2002, nobody pay us single cover, with a recorded 480 workers dead. Is it possible for us to recover? If it is so, I think that you contact the National Secretary of the Union who are going to assist us.
Okay.
Secondly, on Gumi comment, we are pleading seriously with some of our leaders because most of this crisis in Nigeria is not even caused by us, but the comment from our leaders. But when they disagree that it's no amnesty to be given to this bad, say all national governors supported him. It's only the governor of Kaduna State. You can see what is coming out now. I'm pleading seriously because we know his father and we know Gumi. He's not somebody, maybe you must quote it out of context. Let him try his best and see that he reconcile because his effort is giving result.
All right.
Let him try his effort to say that this thing come out peacefully. That's what we want from him.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's take this final call before we go to our social media handles. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Maxim, calling from Gunagora.
Please, I can't hear you. Can you speak up?
I'm Maxim, calling from Gunagora.
Okay, let's have your take quickly.
Yeah, my position on Dr. Gumi's comment. It's really sad, quite unfortunate, uncivilized statement if actually he made it.
Hello? Yes. I think we lost him. Okay.
I think he's finished talking now.
We'll quickly go to our social media handles and take some of your comments there while we are trying to get there. You can still put your calls through. The internet is acting up right now. So we... Okay, 081400989 and 07087800989 are the numbers to dial to add your voice to this conversation. We'll take one more. We actually do not have time to take one more call. Let's come to taking our parting shots on the program as we get set to leave the studio this evening. So I'll start from. Let me start from Eddie Ochidbo. Let's take it from this direction. Eddie Ochidbo, what would be your parting shots on the program this evening?
Thank you very, very much. My parting shot is not far-fetched. It has to do with...
Okay, let's take this. This person has been trying to call. Hello, good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening to your guest, and thank you very much. My name is Dangwa Abbas Martins Danjuma. I'm calling from Barna here in Kaduna. I want to ask concerning the social register. Is it just the community-based targeting that is the only tool that the state government is using to update their register? And then on the issue of the bandits about Shegumi's comment, I really say it's unfortunate, and it is something that Nigerians should actually be aware. And government should actually begin to look within to understand what is happening within the armed forces, and also ensure that no element of religious bigotry is being sponsored from within. Because this statement going out there to these bandits, this is the side we've heard him say to the bandits, we do not know what has been told within the armed forces, which is critical to national security. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, so Jessica will respond to him when you are giving your parting shot. So Eddie, Let's have your parting shot.
Okay. I was saying that the issue is not far-fetched, and it has to do with development. You know, I have said time without number that for us to make any meaningful progress, we must, you know, make governance less attractive. This one that you see people just consider their own self and they train their children the best of university, and our own universities are down the rest of. So if we don't make government less attractive, we will continue to run around this circle.
All right.
So the point, and I want to commend my sister here who has, you know, brought this social protection policy to its fruition. And I know that because of the passion she has demonstrated, she's going to follow it to the letter.
All right, Shola, what will be your parting shot?
Yes, very well. Yes, now that we now have a policy called social protection in Kaduna State, I want to believe in the possibility of what's called 15 age, you know, problem. That's as the program just kick-started, we may have some, you know, problems identified by people. But I want to tell them that this policy is prone to renew every 3 years. So whatever problem that is identified now, I want to believe will be affected as they will be planning to review the policy in 3 years' time. It's a good one for the people of Kaduna State that they have a kind of policy like this. And of course, we're expecting the agency to come up so that you have the way with that to link the word with action.
Okay. I'll come to Jessica now. Remember the communicator, the textile worker, talked about textile workers so that they are how or whether they are part of this. Then secondly, Martins said yes. Yeah. So let's come to Jessica now.
Okay, so thank you, Ahis. Okay, so for the first observation or comment on how can the policy address retirees, their pensions, right? Yeah. How can the policy address it? Now, the beautiful part of the policy is already is captured inside the policy as part of ways to mitigate shocks and vulnerability that might arise from those category of people. To even say the least, there has been a restructuring of the pension scheme, now known as the Kaduna State Pensions Bureau.
Okay.
Yes, so there's a restructuring going on, and the state has gone further to start seeing how they can clear the backlog of such issues. You will see such publications on the newspaper, the number of people that are due for that have been processed. Yeah. Now, to even say the best of the issue, you know, we talked about the establishment of the agency. The Pensions Bureau is going to be part of that agency, of the Social Protection Agency. And not only the formal pension scheme, the informal pension scheme is now going to be on board, whereby you are a trader, you'll be contributing and the government will be contributing for you to get pensions when you reach that category, that age. Secondly, on the CBT tool, as CBT is not a tool.
Okay.
CBT is a process, is a community-based process. So the tools are embedded into the process. So the first one is the sensitization, the community dialogues, and then the selection process. The another one is enumeration. You do the enumeration, then the last of all is the data cleaning, the analysis that is done on that process. So CBT is a process developed by World Bank. It has different stages in which you can get this thing. So Ahis, thank you so much for the opportunity. See you next time.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure next time when I invite you guys, you definitely do me the honors. Well, that's about the size of the program Ground Zero today. And on Saturday, we'll be on for another package of the program. Between now and then, like always, I would say, plant a tree today, water it, and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all. Before you claim right of way, make sure you are safe and not sorry. I am Ahis Adbon. I'm the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction.